It's been some time since I've been uploading. I'm currently on vacation. Um, yeah, I realized that um, there's some. Oh, there's a huge insect there. There's a green scarab-like beetle, the one that probably is part of one of Carl Gustav Jung's dreams of his patients. The person was dreaming of a scarab like that. Yeah, and then she she experienced one in real life, and this convinced her of the importance of subconsciousness because she was a very rational person and was just functioning, and she had no space in her life for the subconsciousness and the soul, what makes us human anyway. Yeah, I realized that real intimacy with oneself is probably the beginning of all intimacy, and it involves privacy and not uploading videos. It's also, I realized that probably abusive experiences or traumatic experiences might make us hypervigilant and push us out of ourselves. So we kind of experience it as an out of body experience because our hypervigilance and externalized empathy uh, is taking up all our conscious experience. So when the environment is not safe, or we're still in the traumatic response, even though we are safe, but we're still in that response of externalizing everything, seeing bad, evil, threat, potential threat, um, danger in everything in the external world. We're out of ourselves. We're not with ourselves. We're not in peace. And this is why we're very good at describing things, why we are very good at describing what is happening with other people. We are observing, hyper observing, but we never really with ourselves. What I want to say is, once we find back to ourselves, our own intimacy with ourselves, we kind of fall into our own consciousness and subconsciousness as if we're drowning, or we're not drowning, but we dive in. We're diving into ourselves, and therefore we can't describe everything anymore. We don't see it from an outside perspective anymore. We're now inside, in the thick of it, in the forest. And before we were kind of soaring and flying, seeing it all from the outside, which can be a protective mechanism, which can give us an advantage over the situation or control over the situation, because we get in crazy insights of what is happening. We understand the patterns and the shapes and everything, but we not experience it from the inside, from ourselves. Now when we get back to peace and we can dissolve these fight and flight responses, then we can't explain it anymore that well, because we don't even want to. It's just that we become part of it again. We don't have to hyper observe, explain, understand, be hyper hyper attentive to and sensitive to check everything, double check everything, understand everything. Yeah, I've also made some posts on my YouTube page about parasitized parenting, and about how I see now the nature of evil. Evil can be connected to, very often, can be rooted, can be connected to masochism and sadism often, so to sadomasochism. Masochism because every person who enjoys to be in pain will call for people who satisfy this need. So they even might be provoking people to abuse them. It's reactive abuse. They might use victimhood as a strategy, competitive victimhood, the display of being utterly helpless, and in this way parasitize your empathy and parental reflexes. And evil cannot only be rooted to sadism and masochism, but also to parasitic and predatory tendencies. So this involves a victim, a target, or a host that is parasitized, and it is with a predatory instinct, meaning it's not with the consent of this person or target or victim, even though the narration will be that it is with the consent, and it will be generalized, belittled, and so on. And Sadism, of course, is the overt evil, meaning we have connected it on my channel to inverted self-esteem with a combination of inverted joy, the joy to take the joy away from others. This is sadism. And of course, evil can also be or is connected to people who have no remorse, no shame, no guilt, no moral core, no identity core. All these things are very counterintuitive if you're not educated in the field. And it's also connected to the three pillars of mental health that are not given in this case. So number one is ego syntony. So people who are evil are not ego syntonic, they are ego dystonic, which pushes them towards these urges of sadomasochism. They are also pillar number two is self-efficacy. So often they're not able to function in all roles that society or social life expects us to function, and therefore they feel driven or entitled to parasitize and prey on other people. And the third is reality testing. Can be delusional people who believe in a fantasy that is not the same as common sense or the consensus that we have on basic values and truth in our culture, in our reality. And therefore the people don't even realize what they are doing. They think it's good, they believe their own narrations of their benevolence, pro-social acts, and how acceptable and for the better good it is what they do. All of this can of course also be a facade, so a psychopath will not be delusional and know what they do, but intentionally creating a facade. Yeah, so I think this is the whole message I wanted to give you. some observations of myself. And yeah, I think I'm just falling back into myself, my own consciousness and subconsciousness, therefore not feeling the need to over understand, over describe, over observe everything, which I think is a good thing and the goal of this whole journey. Yeah. Thank you for listening.